welcome to Wenll's Guide to a Hunter Soloing Black Wing Lair. For this first boss, Razorgore, I'm going to show you how to solo him. You see the two guardsmen there. You want to start by actually killing those two guardsmen. But before we do that, I'm going to actually show you the mechanics of how a hunter will solo and pretty much glitch it out. As far as I know, only hunters and goblins can do this. Basically what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to run up that ramp. Now I'll show you right here. You want to run up that ramp, jump over to the ledge, turn around, do a jump, and disengage over to that area. And if you do it right, you should land over there, and then you jump over the ledge, run there, and that's basically how you do it. And now we're going to actually do it. So you start off by killing the two guardsmen. You don't want to actually touch the controller just yet. And then you run over to by the ramp. Razorgore will come out, controller will come out, they'll both attack you. Razorgore will do a conflagrate on you, so just kind of stand there until that happens. As soon as that runs out, you want to run up the ramp, which I didn't run far enough away, got stunned, but just kind of do it. And then you run up there, jump, disengage, and then you want to shoot Razorgore, jump over the ledge. And you want to stand there until you hear the controller emote. He won't actually say it on the screen, so you actually have to have your volume turned up, and he'll eventually emote. We have regained control. So we should be emoting in a couple seconds.
I have regained control.
There it is.
And
when he does that, all the ads run back out. And then you just jump back down again. And then this time you actually kill the controller. And once you kill the controller, I got conflagrated again. And stunned. It's a little annoying. Yeah, you just kind of do it. Right before I hit the button. You should have enough HP that you can easily stand this. You just gotta be quick. Just don't double tap the orb. If you double tap, you'll kind of screw yourself. And then from there, you've controlled Razorgore, and you just start killing the eggs.
Still recharging. I can't cast
Now,
that
because
yet.
you did this,
That
it's
spell
glitched
isn't
out, and what happens is the encounter thinks that the encounter is not actually in progress. As you can see over
I
there,
can't cast that
the
yet.
door is not closed. So you just kind of wander around with Razorgore killing the eggs. Now, in order to keep this happening, and prevent the encounter from going to normal, how it normally would, you actually need to
That spell isn't ready
right-click Razorgore's portrait and then dismiss him about 3 seconds before the debuff timer runs out, which you're going to see me here do now. See, I dismiss him, and then I usually like to have him way over in the distance when I dismiss him, but you dismiss him right before the debuff timer runs out, and then you just re-click the orb. And as long as you just keep doing that, as you can see, the gate is still open. And that's basically it for this encounter. Because the encounter isn't technically in progress by doing this, and you've glitched out, as far as I know, only hunters and goblins can do it. And yeah, you don't want to have anyone else in the room with you when you do it, like even behind the gate, because Razorgore will aggro onto them and bad things happen. As you can see, I actually do have someone with me. They're standing outside the raid instance right now. basically what I like to do is whenever I do these raids, I solo them on my hunter, but then I'll bring along, like, I've got two other accounts, so I'll bring along 1 or 2 other characters depending on what gear drops and what gear I want them to have. And they're not actually ever doing anything, they just kind of sit there off in the distance waiting for the boss to die so they can get loot, hopefully. Like right now, Wenll, the DK Wenll is currently outside the raid, and I'll have him zone in a minute, probably.
That's still recharging.
And later on in this raid, I'll actually end up getting a guildie to come along too, and he'll pretty much do nothing as well, because he was like, oh, I want you to come with your raid so I can get something. And I was like, oh, well, whatever, as long as you don't do anything. Yeah, I like to do these for the items and the gold. You would not believe how much gold you can get just doing all this stuff. You get a lot of gold, which helps towards that gold achievement off the bosses, and then you get a lot of gold from selling all the extra items that drop.
That spell isn't ready yet.
So this is how you solo the very first boss, Black Wing Lair. Probably the only other boss that would present any difficulty really is the
I can't cast that yet.
Cro-Magnus is his name. And there's actually a very easy way to do that as well, which, since we got time, I'll pretty much tell you. Essentially what you want to do with Cro-Magnus before you even enter Black Wing Lair, you go into Lower Blackrock Spire, the instance, go all the way to where the spiders are, which if you have like a cloak or something, you can actually like enter the instance, and then like right where you see that ledge where you can like jump off and everything and where all the lava is, you just jump off that ledge, go all the way down there, and you'll be like right by the spider
I can't
part,
cast that
and you just
yet.
kill like a few spiders, and they'll drop these I forget what you call them, they're like basically like poison sacks or whatever, and they cure disease. Yeah, you can see my DK right there that I just zoned him in so you could get some loot. And because you haven't actually started the encounter, you can zone in and out, and since you haven't engaged Razorgore
That spell
himself,
isn't ready yet.
you don't have to worry about not being distributed to other people once they come in. But if they do want the loot, they'll have to come in before you actually engage Razorgore himself physically. But you gotta kill all the eggs first. But yeah, so you just want to get all the a bunch of like spider sacks or poison sacks or whatever that drop off the spiders in the Lower Blackrock Spire. Probably only need like 5, so you just kill a few of those, get them, and then you just run back in, and those poison sacks and the
That's still recharging.
hourglass of sands, I believe. Those little sand things. Between those two, you can pretty much cure like 2 things. Cro-Magnus
I
does
can't
too.
cast
So
that yet.
as long as you're careful, you don't actually get mind controlled on that. Now you can see me. I'm about to
That
kill my
spell
last egg.
isn't ready yet.
And I just summon my pet, summon pet wood,
That's still recharging.
and start killing Razorgore. And absolutely nothing dropped. Yay. On to the next boss. Now this guy, I'm not entirely sure, because I actually had my DK pretty far out when I did this. But I think if you solo him, and like no one's in the same room, just you and your pet, he won't cast that ability that'll kill you. But I'm not sure if it was because I killed him too quickly before he could even cast it, or if it was what, but yeah, because sometimes I'll have my characters in the room and he'll cast it on on a random character, but this time I didn't have any characters in the room and he didn't cast it on anyone, so I'm going to assume that for this you essentially just solo him. As long as you're the only one in the room, he won't cast the I'm going to kill you spell. Now what he does is he gives you a buff that basically lets you have infinite focus, or infinite magic or whatever, but it's for hunters infinite focus. So I'm kind of used to casting steady shot, but essentially you don't need to ever cast Cobra shot. You just cast explosive shot, and you can just spam arcane shot. Or if you're marksman, you can just do Chimera and spam arcane. There's no reason to actually do like steady or Cobra. I'm just used to it. That is a very, very fun buff to have. Infinite focus. This is the next boss, who's pretty much just a tank and spank. If you can, you want to try and... He gives you like a stacking flame buffet, which basically will make you take increasing fire damage. So you just, if you can, you want to try and get your pet to tank him facing the dragon away from you. It's not really necessary, but I went ahead and did it for strategic purposes. But other than that, it's just pretty much tank and spank, just throw heal, maybe. Half the time I didn't even need to heal. And that's the boss. And nothing again. This is the next boss. He actually caught me off guard. Basically for this guy, what you want to do is you want to keep Widow Venom on him, which will give him a 25% reduced HP, or give him 25% reduced healing. So you just keep that on him, and otherwise you just try to stay out of his frontal area. But yeah, it's just tank and spank. He'll heal himself because he'll cast a debuff on your pet, which heals himself every time he does damage to your pet. He does that to whatever target he's currently tanking. So essentially you just want to heal through that, or not heal through it, but damage through the heals he does on himself. Can be a bit annoying, but not too bad in today's gear level. Just keep Widow's Venom up and keep DPSing, and eventually he'll die and drop nothing. Yeah, I think I was experimenting here for some reason. I thought if he didn't, I thought it was if my pet attacked him, he'd get healed, but it was actually if he attacks my pet, he gets healed. So I was just kind of experimenting with the actual debuff. Sometimes I don't even know what they do. I was like, oh, well, probably should tell y'all what it does. then this next one is pretty much just another tank and spank. I seem to have forgotten my MD. I'm not the best at getting my pet to tank aggro for me. I'm getting better at it though. Yeah, he does little knockbacks, so you just kind of want to watch that, but otherwise it's pretty easy. You can trank the ability and rage he does, doesn't really matter too much if you do or not. Now, on to Cro-Magnus. Now, once again, for Cro-Magnus, before you actually do him, you want to have a... If you have anyone with you, you actually want to put them back down where I fought the other boss. Not this last one, but the one before that. You actually want to keep them down around there. And what you want to do here is you want to have the Hourglass of Sand. You want to have that keybound. And you want to have that sack of immature venom sack, that's what it is, which cures 1 poison effect. So basically you want to get the immature venom sack from trash off of Lower Blackrock Spider, or the spiders in Lower Blackrock Spider, and the Hourglass sands from trash in Black Wing Lair. And then I actually went Markman for this just to keep a little self-heal on myself. And you just kind of tank and spank. So when you see, those are the different curses. That one does stacking damage, that one does increased fire damage. That's the one you want to use your Venom Sac to get rid of. And that is the one, that new one is the one you want to use Hourglass to get rid of. It'll stun you. And if you get all 5 colors that he does, you'll get mind controlled, and that is very bad. And there's the 5th color right there. But as long as you got those Hourglass and Venom Sacs, it is extremely easy. He doesn't do enough damage to kill you or your pets, so. And nothing, once again, dropped. Bring my DK in for the swords, and they don't even drop. Oh yeah, and there's the pally I was telling you about earlier. So this is the Nefarious encounter. Lord Nefarious, who was the original last boss of the Blackrock Spire, but then obviously the expansion they introduced Nefarian. No relation. As you can see, he's turned to a Shadow Priest type person, shooting little Warlock Shadow Bolts. Basically what you want to do in this first part is you actually want to just stand around, pick a spot. I prefer the ramp, and just throw down a bunch of traps, and then let your tank pet get all the aggro, do whatever. Occasionally do disengage, multi-shot, misdirect, all that stuff, and then just go back in there. You kind of want to have them like all lined up in the same area whenever they die, because in the last phase they'll turn into, their skeletons will rise, and it becomes easier to multi-shot them all if they're all the same. Ugh. So you just kind of do that. You can see Lord Nefarious over there to my side. I think he's about ready to land. Yeah, you can see from all that dust, like he does that right before he's about to land in his dragon form. And now the encounter itself begins. So you just kind of MD your pet. He does pretty much the same thing most dragons do. Does a flame breath, tail swipe. He'll sit there and do a bellowing fear and fear everyone. I actually like the look of this dragon a lot. They did some pretty good texturing on him. But basically, the big thing he does that makes him so difficult is he does what's called class call. Um, when he does that, depending on the classes in the raid, he'll do various things. Like if there's a mage, he'll turn people into like giraffes. You can see he did a paladin call, which I don't really know what that does, but that does something. Um, so he'll do various things. So if you're a hunter, what he does is he will actually break your bow. So to remedy that, you need to have multiple bows in your bag to constantly replace, or you need to be an engineer, which is what I prefer to do. Actually, I do both, but so you just want to be like an engineer and then place a repair bot down and repair them. Also, I'd like to give. Yeah, you can see he's hit 20%, so the phase 3, all the mobs are about to kill him. They all rise, and you just empty them. That was only like some of the mobs, some of them ran other places. I think they were chasing my friends who were just randomly standing around. And that's pretty much it. Just keep doing that. Kill all the little ads, empty them under your tank. They don't really do anything. So I'd like to thank Steevnash Hunter. I will try to include a link to his channel. He actually is the one who originally showed me how to do center, or how to solo the first boss in Black Wing Lair, and pretty much got me into Extreme Hunter soloing. He does some very good Extreme Hunter soloing videos, so I recommend you check him out. Amazing hunter, I think. Not one of those guys that just kind of edits things together and goes, oh, hey, yeah, this is so easy looking, and you look at the fight and you try and do it yourself, and you're like, it's nothing like the video you showed. So, you can see I had to repair my bow again, and that is Lord Nefarious dying with a solo kill. Alright, thank you for watching. Subscribe if you want, or just keep coming back. Either way, I don't really care. Hope this was helpful. Bye.